Who ordered the belt smasher? You wanted the 3 chili, correct? Oh, sorry, I need to go refill the ice machine. There was only one game that made me feel this frantic in the past, and that was a demo. Oh man, forgot about the bun, sorry. The frantic pace, the constant movement, the small cooldown time before rush hour approaches. There really isn't another game that makes me feel like this right now. Welcome everyone to Cook, Serve, Delicious 2. Take a seat, order some food, and hope that I don't screw up the order while I go and take out the trash. Cook, Serve, Delicious 2 was released on September 14, 2017, developed by Vertical Gaming Inc. It was a sequel to Cook, Serve, Delicious 1 that was released on October 5, 2012. The man who originally started development was David Galindo, and the inspiration for the game actually comes from the same source I mentioned earlier, a demo disc during the PS1 era. It was one of those demo discs that allows you to play big upcoming games before release and pretty much made it so you can get hyped up for a new release or pass on them if they don't interest you. A few of those demo discs also had something special in them: Japanese demos. These were pretty much set up to not only pick up interest in Japanese games, but to also pick up interest in importing Japanese titles in general. You'd pretty much need a Japanese PS1 to play these unless you know how to mod your PS1 to bypass the prevention feature. I remember the 2 games that came with the demo disc: Gangway Monsters, which was a sort of spinning top scheme with monsters, and Ore no Ryori, or My Cooking. I played that demo so much. The fast pace of chopping the ingredients, pouring the beer, and chasing down customers going for a dine and dash. Man, those were some good memories. And apparently David shared the same mentality, cause he made 2 fan games titled Ore no Ryomi. Later on, he developed Cook, Serve, Delicious after the success of the Oil Blue. The story in the game is pretty simple. Taking place after the first game, it turns out that the tower you work in accrued a large amount of debt and pretty much sold everything in there. So now you start from scratch in the city's largest tower, and that's pretty much it. You now have a new restaurant, and the goal is to be the best restaurant in the tower. You also seem to have forgotten almost all the recipes you've learned. The only things you can serve are cereal, pretzels, macaroni, and Salisbury steak. Ah, look, our first customer in the early morning. What would you like for breakfast? Not what I expected. To learn new recipes, you have to either buy them in the shop or earn them from leveling up. Bringing up that topic, your place isn't the only restaurant in the building. There are a lot more in the tower, and they are all looking to hire a chef for the day. This is where you are going to be spending most of the time in-game, working with other restaurants and getting used to their recipes. How about gameplay? Well, there are a couple differences between this game and the first. For one thing, there is a prep station on the top of the screen, where you can have several items ready for customers when they show up. There are some foods that can only be placed in the prep station, and some that can skip the first step when you're starting an order. You can also place sides there, where once an order is done, a side is taken and a tip is given. The left side of the screen is where orders start coming in. If there's anything that's related to the prep station, it'll either be immediately given, or it'll let you skip the cooking phase. Once an order is given, you get one of 3 ratings, or 4 in this case. 1 is bad, where the order was done completely wrong, or a lot of ingredients were mixed up. Next one is average, where the order was cooked well, but it's missing a few things. And then there's the perfect order, where you've done it all perfectly well, which could actually become a delicious rating if you had any sides in the prep station. It isn't just orders that show up on that list. You can also get chores. Some of them are washing dishes, taking out the trash, replacing pest traps, even taking out some criminals that decide to actually rob you. Now the recipes can range between simple to complex. Some of the simple ones are pretzels, fries, and breakfast sandwiches. The more complex ones that I've had to deal with are the regular club sandwiches, pastas, and even ice cream sundaes. There are more recipes, over 200 to be precise, and I know I've done some of the more complicated ones, but I haven't gotten that far in, or I didn't record them at the time. When you decide to work in your restaurant, you're going to have to take into account some other details. Some of the foods that you put on your menu will also affect your rating. It can either increase or decrease depending on what is on the menu, and that rating will affect how many customers you're going to be receiving. That rating will also be affected during the day, depending on how good each order was done. Another thing that can affect the rating is menu rot, where you actually have a menu item that's been on there for too long. The weather can also affect it, and the certain food combinations that you have on the menu can also increase your rating. The money you earn after a day can be used to purchase either new recipes, which you can practice before you buy, or you can upgrade the equipment around your restaurant to reduce the amount of chores you do during the day. You can even decorate your restaurant too. For the most part, you are always awarded furniture after working, usually from hitting specific goals or from leveling up. It doesn't do anything from what I've seen, but it's nice to know that you can just change how the place looks after some time. There is a co-op feature in this too. I didn't really do much of it, but it doesn't look that bad, and I can see just how much of the workload can be lifted from just having a second person. It's just unfortunate that only one person can use a keyboard and the other is restricted to either a mouse or a gamepad. I'm not blaming the gamepad, I can see that work. The mouse just feels slower when you're used to the keyboard after a while. The graphics don't look too bad. I can actually see the ore no ryori style with it. Just seeing the customers line themselves up on the counter brings a smile to my face. The music is one of my favorite things too. It's all over the place, some of it relaxing, some of it makes me want to go with the beat, and when it goes into rush hour, I either get into zone or panic from the insane and complex orders I have to deal with. And that is Cook, Serve, Delicious 2. One of the best games to have been inspired from a small 2-stage demo. If you're into fast-paced games, I recommend it. If you remember Ore no Ryori from your childhood, I highly recommend it. It's only $13 on Steam, and if you're curious about the original, that one is only $10. There is a third title currently in early access going for $15 right now, and they're planning a full release during the second quarter of this year. I'm very curious of what they plan to top this game with.